it really is something I think that has some value. The club partnered with DEM on this, and it's got some really neat features. I promise you, it will not give away your secret fishing spot. That's really, honest to God, I think that's the number one thing that people are nervous about if they download it, is somebody else gonna find out my fishing spot, and it is not the case. So the only thing it's gonna tell us is if you're inside of 3 miles or outside of 3 miles, literally. That's the only thing that it's gonna tell you. So you don't have to worry about it coughing up your spot, but it's got all kinds of great features. I started to use it this spring, and you know, it's got weather, time, it's got tides, it's got wind, like it's got all kinds of neat stuff on top of actually recording your fish and where you catch them. And in a couple of years, if you do it, I know I've always logged my fish, right? That's kind of one of the things I've done since I was a kid. And it really gets more and more and more helpful the more you do it. So, anyway, I'm not the one, she's going to speak on it even better than I will, but I did want to say it's something that I'm using, and it's not going to give away your spot, I promise you. All right, I'm going to let Dave take over.
Thanks, Greg. Boy, I'm choking over here. My name is Dave Monty. I'm a member of RISAA. I serve on the board. I'm a charter captain. I have to tell you, I've been recording my catch and effort electronically for 12 years now. I was part of an experimental group. The software that was developed, Frame Cox company developed that software as well. And I find it great. I use it, when we started out using it, I use it as a logbook to better my fishing, but also the writing that I do. I'm also a fishing writer. If I wanted to know what we were catching the first week of June, when the fluke bite was on in every given year, I would go back to my electronic app and check it out. So it was a very useful tool. And then it made me feel good because I was part of a pilot project, an experiment. Just what this is. This is a pilot project that RISAA felt that we should get involved in. So I felt that I was giving back to the fish because it's a very conservation kind of thing to do. So Frank's going to bring up a couple of quick screens, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. This is in part a presentation that we did with DEM at the fishing show. You can see here the partners in this app are Rhode Island DEM, Rhode Island Saltwater Anglers, Harbor Light Software, and National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. That's where the money comes from, actually. They're actually funding this project. Why do we do it? There's a thing called the Marine Recreational Information Program, MRIP. That's NOAA's program to collect recreational data. And quite frankly, it's not really good. As you know, commercial fishers are required to report every single fish they pull out of the water. Recreational fishing, they just try to estimate the number of fish that we're taking out of the water. So it's a data poor fishery, if you would, recreational fishing. Frank, could you just go back? Yep, sorry. I'm sorry. So to the Marine Recreational Information Program, that's the program where they do the intercept surveys. If you're in a boat ramp or a dock, they come and actually survey you. They use that to determine catch, and the effort is a survey that you get in the mail. And they put it through this miraculous formula to come up with a recreational fishing effort. They use that data to inform recreational regulations. Next one, Fran. So because there's a challenge with that data and it's not always right, this information that we collect is actually going to be used by DEM to supplement what they get on the federal level, particularly in the area of catch and discards, because they have no data. And then data poor or rare event fisheries. By way of example, false albacore and bonito, they're not necessarily commercially harvested. It's a very data poor fishery. The fish managers really don't have a good handle of how many of them are in the water. So that's a recreational fishery. This app would help. They can compare this data that they get through the app to the MRIP data, and it will give them better insight into recreational fishing data for the future. One more frame. I'm part of a committee. I should have said this at the start. We had 8 RISAA members working on this app. And we informed Fran and her company as to what the app should be like and what the features should be. That committee also did a RISAA surveys of all membership. We had great participation. We used that data to develop this app. So this truly is a RISAA app, built with all the input from RISAA members. And next one, Fran. 65% of the participants that we surveyed said reduced stocks of keeper-sized fish was the biggest obstacle for them not getting fish. This just important data, 85% of all the people in the survey said better decisions for fish abundance. That's why they wanted to do it, for conservation reasons. So please download the app tonight when you go home if you haven't. You can't use it if it's not on your phone. It costs absolutely nothing. And I'm going to hand it over to Fran. She's going to go over some of the bells and whistles. It's really a nice app that's developed nicely. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, so this is live, so if technology happens, then we'll see. But right now, I'm beaming this to my laptop over there. So as Dave said, RISAA and DEM both wanted better recreational data. They did not have what they thought was the means by which to make recreational fishing decisions to the best of their ability. So we worked with NIFWIF and got a grant. And as Dave said, we work closely with you. We are not fishermen, we build software. So we really needed your input, and the people from RISAA who have taken part in this project have been fantastic. Their feedback has been fantastic. And what I'm going to show you is the bells and whistles that we put into the app so that you'll continue using it. It's really difficult to make an app that gives the scientists data without giving back something to the users. So what we said is, what should we give back? And unequivocally, the answer came to us as, give us the data we need, whether it's weather or tides or solar lunar data. Give us that so that we can see where we are and track our fish. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this interface, so you would log in, and at every one of the tables, there is a piece of paper with a QR code. If you point your phone with your camera over that QR code, a link is going to pop up. Click on that link, and it's going to automatically take you to the store to download the app. This is a free app. So I'm going to go through real quick and kind of show you some of the special features. There's a place to store all of your trips. So there are your trips, and you can take pictures of your trips in which to remember them by, all of the data. You can click on a trip, and then you'll be able to see the catches. You can either take a picture of your catch to remember it by, or you can use one of the pictures that we have as a default. And then you're going to give information about that catch. You'll see down here, catch location. That is something that we put out there. It's in the store tonight. We wanted that in there because a lot of you told us, hey, I'm not using this out on the water. We have it right now so that when you click the button, it would automatically record where you were out on the water. But a lot of you said, hey, I'm not going to use this out on the water. Let me put in where my catch was. So here, you can either click on a map and say I was fishing there, or if you want your exact locations and you have them, you can go back later and you can put in the lat long of where that catch was. The next thing we're going to do, the next step of this, is to take that data. I'm going to show you a lot of the bells and whistles, the lunar and everything else, but our next step in this is to take this data and historically connect it to all of that fishing data. So you should be able, if you use this year, next year you should be able to look up and say, where was I, what were the tides, what was the weather, what was the temperature and everything else when I went on that trip from the year prior. So it's really building upon your own data, and it'll allow you to kind of tweak how you fish to what the data tells you. So let me go back real quick, and I'm going to go and show you some of the items that we put in. So you see here that this is weather, and it's going to give you the weather now. It'll give you your forecast of where you are. It'll give you all of your solar data and your sunrise and sunset. It's also going to give you buoy data. So if you say, hey, I'm going out fishing today, and I'm going to be out, let's just say in this area here, it's going to go back and it's going to pull all of the buoy data. It's possible that DEM may be saying, hey, our APIS data, that's where they come up and ask you questions at the dock. Maybe that's not correct, because all of RISAA is saying that they're catching an abundance of black sea bass. So maybe their data that they're getting isn't quite right. And this data will give them something to look back on and say, let's put it together to get a bigger picture and a broader picture of the data that's out there. So it's a free app. It's going to continue to be free because we want to try to get you to use it. So you can download it. There's also, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just hit re-hit it.
Thank you. Okay. Also built in the app is a place for you to send us information. So you can either hit on that contact us or the about and send us information. Is there somebody here that sent in something this evening about black sea bass? Wow, so there's somebody else outside of this meeting that downloaded it tonight. Black sea bass is in there, is in the list. It's under black common sea bass. So it's in there. Another thing that you can do real quick is set up your favorites. So you don't have to search every time you're catching certain fish. Just mark them as your favorites and they'll show up like that. So we make it as easy as possible for you to use. We want you to continue using it, and we'd like you to send in the data so that we can actually get a better picture of fishing in the winter. We do. We have a 24/7 helpline. That information is also in here. We'll give you our 800 number there. We have people around the coast that answer the phone, nothing offshore. They're all our employees. So they will answer the phone morning, noon, or night, and they'll help you. You can email us. We'll help you with anything that you need. We want your feedback. We can't build a good app. Again, we don't fish. We need your feedback. So if you say it would be really cool if, send us that. Because as we continue to build it, we're taking all of your feedback continually and putting that back into the app. You guys have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Will this update automatically as far
Yes.
as software?
As long as your phone automatically updates its apps, which most do unless you shut it off. So it should just update automatically as the app goes, just like any of your other apps. Good question. Yes, sir?
Any ads?
No ads. No. Trying to make it. Yeah. It's a pilot project. This is our first year. We're really trying to get feedback. Our goal that we set was 175 people to download. That might be a little high. I think we might have said 125. But I'm going to say 175. Go out there, download it, and don't forget to send your data in. We're seeing that people are using the app. Some people, I think, are forgetting to send it in. I think we might be able to do a better job within the app to remind you to send in your data. Yes, sir.
Just a comment. I'm very fortunate that I have friends who fish, but I don't own a boat. My impression, it sounds like a lot of work. Could an option be built in that says automatic? So if I'm on a boat and I catch a 19-inch fluke, I just press 19-inch fluke right now, and with the GPS technology, it could establish the tides, the wind, the dates, and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So we have half of that done. So if you're out there and you say, hey, I don't want to fiddle around with anything, I haven't started a trip, I haven't done anything, but I caught something, you can click on New Catch. And that's automatically going to mark the spot that you were at. You don't have to fill anything in. You can save it for later. And then you can fill in your species.
But you're not sharing that spot.
Correct.
That is for you. That is
You
in
own
your
it.
personal logbook. That's it. You're
Yep.
not sharing that spot.
Our next step is to take that data and hook it back in historically. so that you should be able to go home and pull a report on that and say, you know, where was I, what did I fish on? There's also, if you allow it to track yourself, there is a map in here as well. So if you want to go and allow it to track, again, you don't take your tracks, it will actually bring up a map, and it will show you not only where you fished in this map area here, but where your catches were. Every time you hit a new catch, it's going to show on a pin. So you can either show your tracks, or you can show your catches. And that will all be there and stay with you and have that as part of your continual logbook. Yes, sir?
The data that you're, does that get turned over to the state, or do you, as a software company, own that?
No, we don't own it, to be honest with you. I don't want to say this, we don't care about your fishing, but we really don't care about your fishing. We build apps. It goes to DEM. So
Your company wasn't involved in the state of Florida commercial fishers had a requirement to do an app as part of their business? Was that wasn't you guys?
So we do. We have an app that we do for, it's an agency called the ACCSP, it's a division of NOAA. We've been doing marine fisheries apps for about 11 years now. So we have an app, it's a different app, it's for commercial and for hire, and that is from Maine to Texas.
I'm familiar with your app, that's different than the state of Florida, so there's no data exchange associated with that.
So we have a lot of fishermen on that app in the state of Florida, but the data goes to the government and then back to the state of Florida. So the state of Florida gets the data, but they get it.
It's a different app.
It's a different app, completely different app, yes. We also build Dave was saying, the APIS app, the one that they come up and talk to you on the dock. We build that too, just about all of the data collection. Absolutely. I will be here, and I will be around, so if anyone has trouble downloading the app or has questions, I'll be here and available to speak. Any other questions? Thank you.